the Digital Embellishment Designer Meetup. Matt Redbear.
I'm always glad that she's on the call because
Yes.
we're talking about you.
What are you talking about? Only good things, I'm sure.
No, I said I'm always glad when you're on the call because you have such a unique perspective, and
Oh,
it's specifically from the perspective of designers.
yes. That's why you invited me along, isn't it?
Well, that's why you
Yes, it
sponsor
is.
it. That's why you're one of our sponsors, Sabine. All right. Welcome, everybody. Very nice to see you all. We got Natalie. Welcome back. It's been a while. Good to see you. All right. We've got a lot of new people on the call. Paul-André, how are you?
Hello, fine, and you?
Awesome. We got
I'm now in the train now, so
You're in the
I
train.
cannot.
Very cool. And everybody, listen, real quick. I want to introduce our newest intern, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, say hi to everybody. Introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Jackie or Jacqueline. Either both is great. Yeah, I'm a graduate from Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, California, and I just started at Tactful as a marketing intern. So yeah,
Wow.
happy to be here.
We love
right.
Calpoli. All good.
Oh
All
yes, I love it there too. That's why I haven't left. I'm so in slow.
Yeah,
Are you
wow.
still in slow?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, no, it's like a vacation out here. I mean, the weather is beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, first off, before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors for making this possible. So a big thank you goes out to MGI, our friends at MGI Digital Technology, for sponsoring this. We'd also like to thank Jason. I'm going to mute you, buddy. There we go. I'd also like to thank Sabine and Paper Specs for sponsoring the Digital Designer Meetup, as well as our friend Jeff Peterson from the Digital Embellishment Alliance and the FSCA. Jeff, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kevin?
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, without any further ado, guys, let's get this creative session going. Matt, I hope you have some good things for us to talk about, some good ideas to get us thinking about how to design for digital embellishment. And I think we're kind of talking about all the cool holiday cards that we've got going on. The floor is yours, my friend.
So seriously, if you haven't mailed your Christmas cards by now, which includes me, you're late to the game because I'm just going by previous years. Like last year, I mailed my cards out the middle of December, exactly December 15th. And, you know, it was in Florida. It wasn't that far to like Illinois or wherever, but people I sent a couple to some people in Illinois, another one up in Florida. They got it pretty fast, but I sent one to my mother, and she didn't get it until the middle of January. So, yeah, I maybe better luck this year. I'm gonna mail mine out this weekend, get them done, get my embellishments out, and man, I'm just saying, I'm still getting requests to design speculative artwork for cards, seasonal cards, whether they're Christmas or New Year's. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's the date? And you want me to design you a card that you haven't even thought about printing and producing yet?
No, nobody told them Christmas is going to be on the 24th this year. It's very confusing.
I think it's just like everybody else. It sneaks up on you really quick. And internally here at Elite Print Finishing, which is my day job. Oh, there's a sample over here. I can grab it real quick. It's also later on in my presentation. The cards that we designed, we did in July. So we actually got these out of the way in July in order to make sure that this time of year we're not having any issues with production. We can focus all of our attention on the festivities and the mailing list. It's always the mailing list.
Oh, that's the Harrison Bruno one, right?
No, wait. But we have our own version.
Oh, you did your
I
own.
grabbed the wrong one.
Well, while you're finding that, Matt, I just want to congratulate you on your hat and a good
Matt
example. Yeah, Matt in the hat of life imitating AI art. Oh, very cool, Sabine.
if we're showing off, I'm gonna step in. We also designed one recently as well.
All
It has
right.
a lot of embellishment on it. It looks very nice. Jack and Allison's card, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, bring it closer to the camera
Yeah,
so
we
I can
couldn't see
see
it.
it.
Well, I hope they don't get upset at me, but they look beautiful, so they shouldn't.
Uh-huh.
You can
Oh,
see
some
there-
gold. Yeah, very cool.
And or we have the lacquer on the side, on the back, we have back printing as well. It turned out really nice.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
Uh-huh. Anyone else got a show and tell real quick?
No, you better take the floor, Matt. Otherwise, when we start talking, you don't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, okay. Well, my presentation is short, so but hopefully it will be tinder for conversation to get things going. So let's just share a screen right here, and I'm assuming you can see this on your screen.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So thank you, Kevin, for the insane AI generated art.
Oh, by the way, if anybody's asking like what the best one is, I'm using Nano Banana Pro from Google. It's absolutely bonkers. So I'm sorry, Matt, but just go ahead.
No, that's a good good topic right there is, who's using what and how, because I'm using Grok, I'm using Nano Banana, and the thing is, you buy all these like you go to DiGen and there's a suite of all these different AI generative models that you can choose from depending on what you want to do. One thing that I've been dealing with lately is trying to get to create characters. Like if I were to cut me out of this photo here on the left and then animate me with saying exactly what I want myself to say. So that's always a challenge trying to prompt that, but it's good fun. So I'm glad, Kevin, to see that you've really stepped up when it comes to being able to generate what you want as an end result. I still tend to struggle with it, but maybe that's a topic, if anybody else here is interested, that we could talk about in the near future in one of the next 2, 3, 4 sessions that we have here. How many people on board here would be interested in have a kind of like a hands-on session here where we deal with generative artwork using AI? Anybody?
Well, I
I
think,
would.
yeah. I don't know, Sabine, the design community pro or anti-AI usually?
They
Oh,
hate
that's-
AI,
Yeah.
but they know it's here to stay, especially for idea generation, things like that.
Mhm.
Would I use it for real artwork? Just the other day was something in a magazine or in a newsletter, and I'm like, you can spot from a mile away that this is AI.
Yeah.
So we're not there yet. Until then, I mean, it's perfect for the fun jobs that you do, Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
With all
I'm
the
not selling it.
variations of Matt. My favorite is still the one in Matt in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is intended as fun, and it's not pretending that this is actually Matt.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So there's the difference.
So just to share something really quick, I have one influencer that I do follow, and it's the Rundown, and he posted, and I took a screenshot because I think it's very relevant. He says, AI won't replace you, but the person using it will.
Yes, that's a pretty common one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the holiday card thing. I just wanted to touch on a couple of design elements, things that it's like a like list, things that I like, things that I think are attractive. It's one exercise that you can do after this session is just go on Google and type in embellished holiday card and search on that and see what kind of ugly comes up. It's just seriously, Kevin, you're laughing, but it's just I'm scrolling through it. It's like, oh my God, really? It's just sad. I think the state of holiday cards for me is stale. and everybody just keeps seasonally regurgitating the same thing year after year after year. You go to the Hallmark store. Now they've tried to become a little more progressive with design elements, but still, it's still the same stuff year after year after year after year. And so to me, it's noisy and unattractive. So I want to bring to light some things that I feel are well designed and elegant, though they may not be perfect. So here we go. Um, of course, why all the fuss? It's 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 the emotions of the embellishment industry. The shine is the luxury in the human mind. Uh, to me, embossing feels like craftsmanship, and I I can't see past this thing that's floating on my screen. There we go. I have to move it. Um, it does align with holiday emotions, I think. I mean, the whole feeling of gratitude, the specialness of everything. It's like a gift when someone hands me a well-designed, well-embellished card. It feels like I'm getting a gift, not just a card. Cards used to be an accessory to a gift, but in today's economy, I think the card can actually be the gift. And it's a moment that you're going to remember because it has that tactile feel, it has that look to it, more than anything, it communicates that you're worth the effort, that it's a specialness. You're worth my time. You're worth the extra cost. You're worth the extra fuss for me to create or get this thing for you. Um,
Matt, can I ask you a question? And maybe
yeah.
Lee on the call can answer it. You know, we know typically greeting cards has been a tough market for people doing inkjet-based digital embellishment.
Mhm,
And for the same reason, the fundamental reason being that most greeting card companies have done their research and they've all figured out that a lot, a key part of these things is having uncoated paper, right? So they've done research, psychological research. When you touch the paper, it's warm to the touch.
Interesting.
It transmits a positive, warm emotion.
mhm,
And my question is, now we have people. I don't know if Jason Leonard from Nina's on the call, but we have a
mhm,
lot of these paper companies now creating paper that looks and feels uncoated, but that can work with digital embellishments.
mhm.
So I don't know if our friends at Candid are playing with this yet, but there's definitely some papers out there that can mimic the look and feel of that uncoated material without sucking in all the varnish and foil. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out.
Or what we did, Harris and Bruno helped us do this one.
Mhm.
Right. Oh, Natalie, you
Because
got
as
something
you
too.
said, I'm sorry.
No, keep going. Natalie's showing us something too.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, this is the Nina uncoded. I mean, it's kind of hard to see,
Right, right.
but just
Uh-huh.
an example.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Because exactly
Yeah, it
what you
is.
said, it's got to be uncoated.
Right.
It just has
Yeah.
a different feel.
I'm split 50-50 with this between, well, it needs to have that uncoated look and feel to it versus, the holidays are shiny. If you use a Reich Shine, which has the crushed clamshells in it, it's that's just as opulent as an Italian feel, a surface feel to a paper. So I guess it's just all which direction you feel like you need to go with your own design choices. Um, but I'm still seeing, to your point, Kevin, what I'm seeing on the shelves this year is still a lot of, instead of the raised polymer varnish with the foil overlay, I'm still seeing a lot of traditional embossing.
The
Uh,
scale.
sorry?
Yeah. I just want to say because they print at scale.
Scale.
Yeah, yeah. So it's worth the the cost of making the die. But I'm also seeing a lot of low volume on like Etsy,
Yeah.
where people just make these little hand-tied, hand-assembled packages. Nothing is shrink wrapped, it's wrapped in paper. They're making them themselves. They're still using some kind of an embossing machine and having a die made, and they're sending you a set of 25 custom handmade cards, and it's beautiful. It's, you know, it's very unique, it's very special, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I'm still a fan of shiny, of coated stock, particularly when you're printing a toner on top. It gives it that a certain look. And then, of course, you can always soft touch laminate something if you want to get that type of tactile, soft feel to it. I did not do that with my cards this year. This is just directly on top of the toner. We thought about laminating these, and then at the last minute, we thought, nah, let's just not go to that trouble. Um, I just keep it simple. That's what we ended up doing. So yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 with this whole thing. And I'm certainly not opposed to using an uncoated stock, particularly on the MGI Digital. There's certain ways that you can do that. You can do an aqueous coat uh, prior to printing the stock to create that barrier, or there's other techniques that you can use if the paper will allow it.
Actually, Matt, I think Al had a question about that. Al, did you want to ask a question on this subject?
Yeah, what we're doing right now, we're doing a lot of experimenting because we just got into the foil, but we have run paper through our 6-color 40-inch and just put on. We've experimented with coating. We've also done it with 2 coats of primer,
Mhm.
and they work fine. But the problem we're running into is it gives us a lot of curl in the sheet. So when the sheet curls, we're having some difficulty. It slows down the jobs feeding through the MGI or even our KM1. But we're also having a pretty good bit of success just putting down uh, one hit of varnish and then coming back with a second hit of varnish and the foil on top of that. It's
Mhm.
not perfect, but it works pretty well. In fact, our trainer was here all week, and he was telling us how surprised he was that it was working so well. But we're still looking for ways to make this work faster and better. But that's what we're doing right now.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Can I just ask, when you say varnish, are we talking, you have an MGI, right?
Yes.
So you're talking polymer.
Yeah, we put down 1 coat as a primer.
Yeah,
And then
I'm just,
yeah.
all the people who, everybody uses different terminology. I just want to make sure we're on the same.
Yeah.
So you're doing basically what the Scodix is already,
Yeah.
shouldn't say that name here.
yeah.
But what they're doing in their new system where they put down 2 sets of polymer, the first one to seal and the second one for the foil.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and Al, that is a technique that I've been using for about 5 years, and it's interesting because there's certain papers that don't work very well. It needs to be of a density that won't allow that varnish to soak in very much. It may not. It may be of a high enough way too high of a dye level where that varnish spreads out, and it almost looks like it's not even there. But as long as it doesn't soak through those top layers of paper fibers, and especially definitely not to the other side, then that's a good stock to use. Um, I've usually used a lighter micron level for the first pass. It almost looks like it's not there. You can barely see it on the sheet. It's like you almost have to have a loop to see it. And then I'll come back and use a heavier micron level on the second pass. Registration is critical. The one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is making sure that that scanner on the MGI has enough points to see to register that artwork. So designers, when you're setting up jobs like that, you want to set up multiple passes to go through these machines. Give us extra crop marks, marks down each side of the sheet. They can be targets, they can be circles and dots, they can be a Japanese crop mark, they can just be an X, like a vertical X. Um, um, Different
They
machines.
can be capital letters.
Yes, they
Yeah.
can be capital letters,
Hey, Marco.
and they just go down each side of the sheet, and that gives the scanner something to look at near the edges of the sheet. They need to be set in a little bit, but of a large enough size that the scanner can see them. So maybe a 3/4 point on your line width, minimum. is what I usually go for. But putting that on your print sheet and then sending that on your mask file to the machine, it can match those up and square everything out very, very nicely. So when you're putting one thing on top of the other, they line up damn near perfect. So that was a nice little aside. But anyway, let's get back to this. Uh, this is a card that I liked. It's just really, really simple. It's actually not done well. And the reason you can see as we talked about these paper textures, look at the texture of the paper. On the left is a more distant view. On the right is a more magnified view. But you can see that there's quite a bit of texture in the paper itself. Now, it was aqueous coated, and then the polymer foil and varnish was put on top of it. This is just gold foil, and there's not a lot of varnish underneath it. It looks a little sketchy, but that's because it's picking up the texture of the paper underneath. And that is one thing you need to be very careful in your design work, that you're going to know that that's going to happen if you're using a highly textured paper and you're putting the varnish on top of it. Obviously, that
So from a designer point of view, Matt, I like this because it looks intentional. It looks
No,
handmade.
no,
In this case, I'm not
I
saying in every
agree.
case. If it would be type, I don't know what the type look like. Type would be different, but
Yeah.
the artwork, it looks like handmade, so it fits in with the style.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sabine. And that's one reason I like using this as an example. And like I said earlier, I know it's not always perfect, but visually, from a designer perspective, it might be more desirable.
So,
It
so
fits the
Matt, this is
intention.
an uncoated. This is an uncoated stock then that was an aqueous coat was placed over the top of the uncoated textured stock, and
Yep.
then the polymer or the varnish, the MGI varnish, then was laid down after that. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
it doesn't, yeah, it has that surface to lay on top of.
Well,
And it
that's
was,
what we did with this one as well. This is the same system Herons and Bruno uses, isn't it? They put like a
yeah,
coating, the flood coating on. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, is that a UV coating, Sabine, or do you know? Is that UV or is that aqueous? That goes
That's an
on?
aqueous.
That's an aqueous.
It is an
Jeff,
aqueous.
you're very something is wrong with your mic. You were fine before, and then all of a sudden you sound like you're on the North Pole, which might be very
Oh.
fitting given the theme here. So this is an aqueous.
Okay, that's awesome.
Hey, that just came to me. Thank you, Matt.
This is really good.
Tough crowd here.
It's
This is an
pardon me,
aqueous one.
it's the substrate, the paper. Is that a silk? Type
No,
of,
this is an uncoated sheet.
do you know?
It's
Purposefully,
GPA.
it was purposefully uncoated because, you know, that's just, we got to make it complicated.
That's a GPA to that stock. And
Oh,
I'm
GPA.
having Ryan. Yeah, Ryan's going to be joining here any second, but that's a
Oh, he
GPA
is?
stock, and he'll tell us which one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I thought this was a good example of what's good and bad all at the same time, because I don't know if Sabine, you like it. I like it. Is there anybody here that doesn't like this? It's simple.
I love the thought of, it somewhat being not perfectly done, that it is, as she mentioned, almost like a hand design.
Yeah.
It adds a lot of value from that perspective, honestly.
But from a technical, because I operate the machinery and have for a decade, when I see something like this come off the machine, my first thought is like, oh, something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Or
But
this
we're-
isn't good enough. That's my first thought.
But we're back to the intent. What is the intent? And in this case, it's artsy. It's artwork. It's, I want to, I don't want to say it's Etsy, but you know what I mean? It looks more handcrafted.
Yeah.
And in this case, it fits.
It almost looks like someone took,
And what about the letters?
what about the letters?
What about the text? Is it sharp or is it also
It's just off to
wavy?
the
Because
left
the
there.
picture is
It looks pretty sharp to me. It actually looks sharper than the larger, thicker areas. It seems like on this piece, the thinner areas were sharper and the larger areas started to break up a little bit. And I'm not sure why, because maybe that was just the surface. And of course, it makes a difference too if you're starting with a vector mask versus a raster mask.
Right.
So the berries and the leaves were probably created under a raster configuration, you know, probably pulled his clip art, and then the lettering would have been set as type, which of course is vector. So you're going to get those cleaner, finer lines. It's pretty sharp to me. I mean, the lettering to me is acceptable. It's just the rest of it, which would have come off of a raster mask, is a little handmade. I'm
And
trying,
that's the point.
That's,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm trying to be nice here. This one doesn't show the varnish. It's just because it's a straight on view. But from a design perspective, I absolutely love it. And what happened, if you look at the close up on the right side, the the imitation coloring in, I guess these are like jewels or you know, glass or whatever it's supposed to look like, um I don't know, crystal. It's actually color. It's all CMYK, and it's all broken up in these little pieces, and I just really love this design. And then you put a little bit of varnish on top of it, and it actually looks more prismatic than it actually is.
So
So
wait,
can I-
wait, wait. So it's CMYK and then varnish on top. This is not
Yeah,
foil.
yeah, it's
Okay.
no, it's not foil, and it's not
Sorry, Kevin, I
showing,
interrupted you.
especially the close-up, it's not showing the varnish because it doesn't have that angle
So
to it.
can I ask you a question, Matt?
Yeah.
What is your strategy when you're approaching the, say, the tactile varnish mask for something like this? Are you going to look to like highlight this whole thing, or are you looking to actually create like prismatic effects where you're actually trying to cut these things out individually to give it kind of that kind of
Yeah, on something like this, because it's already from, this is my design perspective. This is my personal design perspective. Because each one of these already has a lot of what looks like broken color pieces in it.
right?
It's already pretty complex. There's a lot going on here. In addition to a lot of white, I did a solid, just a
Okay.
solid overlay, because I think a texture of varnish on certain parts of this would have actually been more confusing uh, to what you're trying to make this look like or look into. Now, if I'd taken it a step further, I would have put a solid varnish on each one of these pieces and then another pass of a textured varnish on top of that for just the darker areas. I think that would have been an interesting effect, but overkill, yeah, yeah. I think just I always tend to go the simple route, and visually, that's what got me to that point. I wish I had more of an angle on this to show you what that looked like, but I do not. Again, simplicity. This is just gold foil, and it's minimal. It's just minimal. Uh, a little more effort put in some of the windows than there were in others. There's a little bit of a slant on the foil in the windows, I think, which gives it a lot of character. There's some little stars and dots in the sky, and then of course the word rejoice in script. I absolutely love this type of a look. It's simple, it's clean. Um, there's not a lot going on, but it speaks a lot, especially when you're dealing with, this is like a night sky scene. So
But this
if you
looks
look,
like an uncoated sheet. Is this an uncoated one?
it is actually coated.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I'm looking at these details over here, and I'm looking at
Hmm.
these deals over here. That's really hard to do on a normal
Right. But
sheet.
but it's so matte. So this is matte, pun intended. So I thought it might be uncoated.
You're on
Yeah.
fire today.
No,
I am.
Sabine,
Whoa.
I don't know. It's the
Sabine,
holiday season. Yes.
there's this thing called silk, silk,
Got it.
silk coated, and you know this, and some
Really?
of, yes, you do. A lot of people actually do not know that that is an option.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a soft touch feel, but it definitely has a more of a matte
Matte.
feel to it, and it takes toner differently. You can see that the toner doesn't lay down as cleanly, which is why a lot of printers don't like to use it. When I was running, let's say on the Irides, the Xerox Irides, whenever I was running soft, or sorry, whether it was silk or a matte
Matte.
finish surface, we had to use the good fuser.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because there's less coating on the paper.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you had to dial it in and make sure that the machine knew what kind of, you couldn't just use any kind of paper setting. You had to make sure that you told the machine exactly what kind of paper surface you were using so that it could lay that toner down a little more effectively.
And Matt, you bring up a good point that I did want to let everybody know. If you are running a digital press, specifically like a toner-based digital press that has like a 5th or 6th color option, like the Iridescent or the Revoria or the BP 1200S or any of that stuff, just know our friend Christine Yardley up in Print Panther in Canada has kind of pioneered a really cool way where she's using a clear toner as a primer. So she's printing her
That was,
CMYK.
dang, you and I on fire. I was thinking, I was like, Kevin, you and I on the same page here. Go ahead,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So those of you who don't understand is when you're using inkjet-based embellishments, it's like putting water on top of a sponge, and you don't want that water to get absorbed into the sheet because then you can't get any detail or it doesn't look good and all that stuff. So the big thing is here using a clear toner as that barrier, and the varnish would actually stop on top of the toner and not get pulled through. So I just wanted to explain that to those of you who didn't understand.
yeah, it's another way of what Al was talking about earlier with
Right.
the first pass, second pass. It's still an additional pass on a machine somewhere in order to create that barrier. And I've also used, if I'm putting down like a gold foil, then I will use a build of a rich black.
Yeah, that can do it too. Yeah.
Yeah, put down 240%, 220%, 240%, however much toner that sheet of paper will take. And it's usually 220 to 240 maximum, depending on your machine
So
output.
help me out, Matt. You have the MGI and you have a toner-based system, a digital flat. I'm sorry, digital flat foiling system.
No,
Like a
no,
toner-based one?
no, we're
Okay.
not talking about
What
sleeking.
habit meat does Konica Minolta?
I'm sorry?
Oh, was
No,
somebody say
my
something?
bad. My apologies.
Okay. It's just
Because
another
you
way to,
said 240% toner, and I'm like, wait, what?
yeah, so if you have a white sheet, Sabine, and I'm going to put gold foil at the top, it's an uncoated sheet. I'm gonna set that type at the top in 240% rich black. So it'll have cyan, magenta, yellow, and black toners all laid down in that one spot. And it's going to create a very thick barrier when you lay the
Right. So that's your
polymer
spot
on
barrier,
top
so
of
to
it.
speak.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Got it.
Yeah, and it worked especially well on the Iridescent because the toner's a little waxy. You wouldn't think that it would, but it does. Even off the iGen, which is they use a fuser oil, it still worked really well because that oil would cling to that dense black and create a better barrier.
I have a question real quick. Speaking of
Yeah.
barriers, we're using some soft touch lamination, and we're doing both, but mostly double-sided soft touch lamination prior to running through the embellisher, and we're having a problem with static electricity.
Oh yeah.
We have our humidity set properly for a lab environment, around 55 to 70%. And I'm just, is anybody else having that issue, and any way we can help reduce that?
Yeah, I mean, other than letting them sit in a humidified, heated room for, 24 to 48 hours, there's not anything you can do except for wiping them with a dryer sheet or using tinsel that's grounded. So you see on all the laminators, all these machines that use a very plastic polymer based substrate or overlay or whatever, they're going to run that tinsel across the feed of the sheet as it feeds into the machine. Does anyone here know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I actually I do because old school wise, we use that same tinsel on our the way that we laminate it for years and years and years to help reduce the static electricity.
Yeah, that'll
So that
suck
thing
up.
I never pieced that together, but thank
Yeah,
you
that
for bringing that up.
that will suck up quite a bit of that static electricity. And I usually have to put it on the feed end of the machine
Yep.
and the stacker end of the machine because it
Yep.
will pick up more static as it moves through the machine, wobbling against the belt or, having the foil applied to it, etc.
Or even on the stacker as it goes into the stacker and rubs up against the sheet that's
No,
underneath.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what I do. And I don't know about other manufacturers, but MGI, that's all a metal frame. And the metal framing on an MGI digital embellishment machine is completely grounded. So you don't have to run additional wires or try to use little wire clips and ground that to elsewhere. Just make sure it's firmly attached to the machine and you should be good to go.
Great point, Pat. Thanks.
Yeah. So here's an idea I was toying with. This is not my work, but it was something that I ran across in all of my meandering in order to figure out what to talk about today. And this is something that I want to approach in the future, is to do the same card in different ways. So instead of turning out 500 of the same card, you can turn out, 250, 333 of three different sets. And I don't know, I think it's just a great idea. You could do it with foil. So you could use a different foil from one set to the next set. Um, instead of red foil, use green foil. Instead of blue foil, use red foil. Use holographic foil instead of gold foil. Whatever works with your design. Something like this, where it's pretty much on a neutral background, you could get away with anything. Just swap it out and it's still going to look good
The
unless
same
maybe,
file. It's the
yeah,
same file.
yeah, but if it was on like a pink background, then you're going to be limited to what kind of foil is going to coordinate with that nicely. Um, so yeah, that's where I was going to say maybe you don't want to use pink foil on anything like this. I've used pink foil on my holiday cards before.
Looks good. Pink foil looks great.
It actually does if you don't use too much of it.
Right.
And then, of course, I use it as a secondary color to the primary, which would have been a glitter foil or something like that.
Do you
This is my,
recommend? Do you recommend anybody's pink foil, by the way? Anybody in specific that you like to run?
it's difficult to find, Kevin. It's not
Yeah.
a lot of manufacturers carry it. We have jobs come through here every now and again that does require that very bright, it's almost fuchsia.
Yeah.
Some brands sell it under the color purple, but it's not really purple.
Right.
But to get that super, super bright pink, it's hard to find. The one samples that we keep in-house are from K Laser.
Okay.
And then Konica Minolta also sells their versions of
Oh.
foil
Okay.
that also has a very, very wonderful shade of that as well. So that should be available through your KM supplier. And if you haven't gotten a swatch book from them, I would try to contact them and request it. I'm not sure who you would do that, but if you have a sales representative that services you already, then that would be the first person to approach. I don't have those swatches anywhere near me, I'm sorry to say, but they are quite nice, very vivid colors. This one on your screen is my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
It's just gold foil.
Hmm.
The only embellishment here is just gold foil. And to me, that's just nuts because there's a lot going on for the simplicity of the design. There's a lot going on. You've got the foil stripy stripes on the tree on the left. You've got the zigzag tree in the middle. You've got the snowflake gold on the tree on the right. You have the two solid ones centered in from the edges, 2 and 2. And then you've got two that have nothing on them at all. You've got snowflakes that are just tiny little dots of foil, and then of course the title at the bottom. It doesn't get, to me, it doesn't get more elegant than this. I'd be interested in Sabine's take on what.
You see me hopping up and down already, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, some people like the simplistic style, and other people are like, no, that's too modern. It's not traditional
So
enough.
I already know you and I have a project coming for the next holiday season. I am because
Oh,
there's so many.
do we?
Oh, yes, we do. You
Oh,
don't know yet,
Marco.
but wait for it.
Oh, Marco's showing us some good stuff too, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
foils.
it. That's the one I was talking about. Thank you, Marco.
That's the foil. Because these are all, the foil is all on the same height, right?
Yeah,
So from my
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
designer's point of view,
It's one pass.
yes, I understand. So from my designer's point of view, it would be even more stunning if only the tree and the in the middle and the wording were really high and the others were flat. Because that would really make the tree pop. So you and I will have some testing
Well,
coming our way.
actually, Natalie, I don't know if you want to explain real quick to the designers here, how can you get a different thickness on that middle one versus the other ones? How would you do that from your standpoint? And just so you know, you're in mute. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, thanks. So we would do what's called a dithering effect. So as a designer, you would screen your spot color at say 30 to 50% rather than 100. And then this way you can get multiple levels of varnish in one pass. I will say there is a caveat to that. It might be difficult to do multiple levels when you're doing foil in one pass. So it definitely takes a little bit of testing, but it is a really great tool. I'll have to look around and see if I have an example of dithering.
Yeah, and Natalie, the testing is probably essential, but because there is a varnish minimum recommended, I know for the MGI machines for the application of foil on the top. It's usually like what 31 to 36 microns. So if you're putting down say 50 microns and then the part that you want to be not as high, you're going to make sure that it doesn't get to be less than the equivalent of 36 microns in height. Otherwise, you're probably not going to get your foil to stick
Yeah.
But
as
from a
well.
simple designer's point of view, we could run it through twice, could we not, at different heights?
You could. There'd just be two different masks and two different passes. One would be set for say 50 microns and the other one would be set for
80. Yeah.
15.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but can you imagine how fabulous it's gonna look?
Mm-hmm.
Matt's like, oh my God, here comes, here comes trouble.
I honestly, I
To be-
hope you could tell the difference. Yeah, Marco, you're going to say something?
yeah, to Matt, to be honest, you can go even to the 14 microns, especially on the big machines. I manage it, but the quality of the foil should be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did the testings and the Kurz and MGI foils. I get it. Even the MGI foils work really good, not excellent, but really good on 14 micron sticks.
Yeah, I have personally not gone below 21.
But you need to play a little.
Yeah.
21 has been kind of my like danger level. It's like once I get down to 21, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work. And maybe that's machine specific. What I keep saying through almost every one of these sessions is everybody's machine has a different personality, even though it may be the same manufacturer and the same model number. This machine may act a little bit differently. The age of the print heads, it might be on a different type of varnish. It might be on the D, not the clear. So I don't know. There's a lot of variables involved as well. And then of course you've got the variable of the substrate. How smooth is the substrate? If you're putting it on gloss C1S, then yeah, it's probably gonna do anything that you want it to do, or a laminate. But yeah, Kev.
Matt, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I did it on a matte laminate. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify to some of the designers here who might be confused with the conversation that just happened. When we're talking about 21 or 40 or 80, we're talking about how thick, how many microns thick we want that foil underlayer to be, which is going to be jetted in varnish. So that's really what they're talking about. We're talking about how thick we want that varnish to be applied onto the sheet. So I know that some of you aren't necessarily running the machine, so it's important to clarify for our design.
And what you're seeing on screen is 50.
Okay.
50 microns of one pass of varnish with the foil on top.
That looks great.
Yeah, that
like
43 is like my go-to start point. And then if I want to go a little higher, I want to go a little lower. I mean, it's like you run a test, you run a sheet through. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Do I
Yeah.
want to make the snowflakes a little bit bigger? Do I want to make them a little bit smaller? That's another option that I have on board, that I can change that. I can expand or contract them, shave a pixel off, add a pixel. There's a lot of different things you can do on board while you're testing your job out to see, well, the customer is going to give you some idea of what they're expecting,
Right.
but it's up to the designer and the operator to make sure that it's hitting the paper the way that they expect it to. But there's a lot of things you can do in between in order to get there. Has anyone
Just
done? I'm sorry, Marco?
sorry, I just want to tell from the technical side to the designers, if you are going with different thicknesses in one pass or whatever, you need to talk with your printing facility operator or whoever. What is the lowest amount reachable by them regarding the quality? So if you design for, let's say, 40 microns and you go down there to 10 microns and they cannot deliver your design out, then this design is not good for the production.
Hmm. And that's where it's up to trusting the printer and the operator to make those adjustments. Say, well, this isn't going to work. What was your goal? What was this supposed to look like? And how do we get there?
Right.
And then I have to be the go-between in order to bridge that gap. Anybody doing a gatefold? Anybody? This is something you don't see often.
I like
This,
these.
yeah, I like these too. I've done several gatefolds. The challenge is making sure that they're trimmed correctly so that they meet in the middle the way they're supposed to.
Right.
Because you can't bleed.
You
For the designers on the call, you can't
um
bleed the pole. You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to. Man, don't give him any ideas.
I never, just because you're crazy enough to try this, Matt.
okay,
Man.
so
You can't
It-
print for, most
here's-
printers will say don't.
here's what, if it's a good substrate and it's properly coated, or it's a good surface and it's laminated and you know that's going to stick. Like, we do the nickel test. We run a sheet, we scrape the foil or varnish with a nickel, not
Very high tech.
heavily. Sorry?
Very high tech.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is like cutting edge, stuff. But we always use the nickel. And so we got a stack of nickels in the room here where the machine is. We lightly scrape it, and if it doesn't come off, we scrape a little heavier. And if it still doesn't come off, we scrape a little more, and then we see how it scrapes off, if it does at all. If it's cemented on there really well, then this is a good project to work with, because then you can cut through the foil.
Right.
Don't let anyone tell you that you can't cut through the foil. It's
Manly, I need you to do this for me real fast.
Yeah.
no, we
We're
cut
gonna get
through.
some calls.
No, we cut through the foil all the time. If it's not adhering properly, then we'll cut a gutter or just come up shy of the trim line, like by 1/16 of an inch. Okay, 2 millimeters.
Thank
And
you.
then lately, I've been dealing more on the metric side than the imperial side, because it's a lot easier dealing with design and layout. And it's like, okay, well, how wide do I need to cut away from the score line where it folds? And if you're talking about imperial, then it's like, 3/32 of an inch, which is difficult. Or you can just say 2 millimeters,
Right.
get it over with. Much easier to measure, much easier to mitigate. But anyway, this does require exact. It needs to be done as in-house as possible. If you're printing it, you basically need to finish it so that you have that control to make sure that you have everything positioned on that sheet exactly where it needs to go. Especially if you have tick marks on the sheet for cutting, slicing and dicing, whatever, everything needs to match up exactly. So I'm going to do the layout. I'm going to do the press sheet. I'm going to do the printing. I'm going to do the embellishing, and I'm going to do the cutting. So if you're not doing all of those things yourself in succession, then you need to be really tight with who is. Otherwise, if this is off just a little bit, nah, it's going to be a fail. It's got to be exactly right. So it's a challenge, but if you haven't attempted a gatefold yet or a special fold of any kind, I highly encourage that you do try to set up, even if it's a test file, try to do that. As a designer, it's one of those things that you think it's going to work on screen, and then when you print it out and cut it all up and fold it together, then it doesn't. And you're like, oops.
Mm.
How can I go back and fix this?
And this is why many people don't use gatefolds.
Yeah, you have to test it. You need to have your own printer of some sort that you're going to print it out, have some way to cut it all out, fold it together, and make sure that your prototype works before you continue with your design.
Matt,
This is,
does the height, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm saying this one in particular isn't that difficult. It's a challenge, but it's not that difficult.
Does-
There's,
I
go
I
ahead,
can
Cindy.
one up you.
Yeah,
Oh God, Natalie.
oh,
here we
I've
go.
got a, not me personally, but I have a friend who runs a print shop, and a few weeks ago he took on a job where it was a folded card that folded up into a kite with variable data names printed across the entire kite, where there's like very intricate folding. So that job kept him up for a couple of days.
yeah.
I can imagine.
For something like that, that's to me, that's a lot of trimming on board the machine.
Yeah, but every name's different. So it's like you have to be really, really good on registration, and you have to design around any potential issues, because that just sounds
Yeah.
like a giant pain in the ass.
Well, he printed like the original sheet offset and then went back later and printed the names digitally to kind of help with that process a bit. But even like, you know, if you're doing like more than 1,000 copies of like these intricate folds, it gets very, very labor intensive super quickly. So from a designer like perspective, like it's great to make really like beautiful like folds and intricate designs, but it's also important to note the labor and the time and the cost that's going to be associated with that. So there's always a bit of a balancing act.
Yeah, anytime we do any kind of VDP, variable data, I basically say you really need to pad that quote, because we're going to have issues that we're not foreseen. No matter how many times you do it, something always comes up. Something needs to be trimmed that should have been dealt with from the design point forward, and it wasn't. And sometimes it's just a matter of the designer not giving it that extra padding. Like if you're going to move it away from a gutter or a fold or a score line, move it away just a little bit more than you think you need to. That's been my biggest lesson. You think it needs to be that much, double it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask some designer questions? So does the height of the polymer, the microns, does that make a difference in your nickel test? So would you recommend a lower height as opposed to like the 50 microns that most people probably use?
So the nickel test
cut
is
through it.
the nickel
If you
test
need to
is
cut through like the gatefold.
right. So applying more or less doesn't seem to make a difference. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't stick, it doesn't stick. You have more of it not sticking, or you'll have less of it not sticking. So adjusting the height of the varnish or the thickness of the varnish itself doesn't help.
So is it a matter of the foil then? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I
Marco has it.
I
Marco
would be on
thinks
a technical
differently.
side. On a technical side, I would go rather, because on all of my trainings, when we talk with the new customers, with the new installation machines or whatever, thicker you go, the more problem you will have with the polymer, because it's easier to crack or to remove. Okay, on the side, if it sticks, if the adhesion is good, then the adhesion is good. But sometimes the adhesion doesn't need to be excellent to cut through the polymer. But you need to know what to do on a technical side. Go to the edge with a varnish, or go 1 or 2 pixels over the gutter line, or in the fold line, do lowering of the varnish. You know, you have the, let's say, 50 micron line, 1 centimeter thick, and then you come to the part where it needs to be creased. You go lower and you use the let's say 25% of the mask file, and then you will be on 10, 15, but you will have the shiny effect where the crease come, and it probably will not break on the creasing machine.
So we're coming up.
I still had another question, but finish answering Marco first.
Yeah, I finished it basically. We can have a 1 hour talk about it. What to
Yeah,
do?
yeah,
believe
that's
me.
a whole other topic right there.
I wanted to see if you can run the gatefolds. Can they be automated? Can the folding be automated, or does it have to be manually because of the height of the polymer?
Usually on anything that is embellished like that, it should be a hand fold. That's what I highly recommend. If you can do a digital cut, core, and score and crease, then do it digitally on a flatbed machine rather than a machine that's going to go in and bend it and go through all these rollers like a traditional folder would do, or a scoring machine or whatever, even like an old windmill machine. In-house, we use an old Kluge to do the scoring, and it does a beautiful job once it's set up. It takes forever, but then after it's all scored and cut and ready, yeah, we have people stand there and hand fold every darn one of those, or we deliver them flat and let the customer fold them themselves, because at that point we're not going to be liable for damage to the overlays because they sent them through a machine. You know, just hand fold them. So I wanted to go over this one, which doesn't really show it very well, but this is foil.
Oh, is that the transparent foil, the holographic one?
Yeah, it's a clear, it's a transparent foil. It's
Amazing.
called Lots of Dots, and it has little holographic dots in it. And it's so subtle. I mean, it's just like, it's like white on white or black on black. It's like once you look at it and once it catches the light just so, you're like, wow, that's different.
These are my favorites. The transparent holographics.
Yeah, and you can put those on top of other foils as well. So you can put down a red foil and then put the transparent holographic on top of it and get a different effect. This is my favorite of all of them. It's so
Hey,
stupid.
Matt, real quick.
Yeah.
That transparent foil, who are you getting that from?
Let's see. I know Crown Roll Leaf makes it. Infinity carries some of it. And also Kurz is one of our suppliers for that.
Awesome, thank you.
We use a lot of Kurz foils. But you gotta, it's usually seasonal.
No, but for Jason, for your applications, that would be amazing. That's a great call for you guys.
Yeah. So this is the time of year to be hunting that stuff down if you think you're going to use it throughout the year, because it's usually a seasonal product. They won't produce it after January. And then when it sells out and it is no more. So this is my favorite. It's just varnish and it's so simple and so stupid. But I see Sabina's frowning.
No. I mean, we've all been there. It's everybody's worst nightmare.
Yeah, just a little funny. This is the card that we did, you know, this one here. It actually photographed pretty much how it looks. And it's just holographic foil and varnish over the ornament, a little bit of textured varnish on the ribbon and on the rail underneath the logo. Very simple. We decided to keep it very simple this year, but it's a design that when you hold it up and look at it a certain way, it makes you go a little cross-eyed. There's something about it. If the lighting is just right, your eye is trying to focus on what's behind the snowflakes, and then you get this weird vertigo thing start going on. But the photo isn't going to convey that. One thing I wanted to bring up as a technical point, one thing I love to do, look at the score line. It's black. I set that in with a rich black. And it's 2 millimeters or 5 to 6 points. You hit that correctly with your score line and fold directly on that. It adds just that certain touch of elegance to it. I don't really know if you can see this on my camera or not, but that way you don't get what looks like a cracked white edge.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
This
Good
is
idea.
another card we did for NC State. This is it feeding into the machine. So that was my starter sheet. It was laminated both sides. Notice where the score line is versus the trim line. So of course we want to score directly on the edge where the photo meets the red on the back. But we need to make sure that no white shows there because the foil is going to back right up to that. So I had the customer wrap that red around to the front. And then you have to stop just short of the score line with the foil because you don't want to bend the foil. You don't want to risk cracking that off or having it peel or crease or look unsightly. So that needs to clear the score line just slightly. And that's it. Follow me on. You laugh. Go on, everyone laugh.
You look good, man. You look very jolly.
Follow me on LinkedIn for more, hopefully. And we're going to be doing this Tactosphere thing as well.
Yeah.
And then there's the MGI Jet Force. We've got all kinds of platforms for people to stay active in the design elements of all this.
Matt, I did have an announcement for all you designers. So we're kind of teaming up with our friends at Harrison Bruno, at HP, and at D-Scoop. We're going to be doing a designer contest. And so there's going to be a judges. It's a contest. If you guys want some information, I'm dropping that in the chat right now. So you guys can check that out. The winners will all be submitted for awards with the FSCA for the Gold Leaf Awards and will be showcased at D-Scoop Edge Rockies in March. So this is something that if you guys are bored or you want to kind of show off your creativity, click on that link. Let's see what you guys have. From a competition standpoint, it's going to be hopefully getting you guys a lot of eyeballs to the different agencies out there and so forth. So take a look at that. That being said, guys, we are already running over our time. A big thank
1 minute.
1 minute over. A big thank you to our sponsors, MGI, Paper Specs, and of course the Digital Embellishment Alliance for all your help. You guys are amazing. I'm looking forward to next month. Our meetup will hopefully maybe we'll get into some of this AI stuff and start talking about that and so forth. So big thank you, Colleen. By the way, I forgot to mention a big welcome to Colleen, who's at Cal Poly. She is going to be also very involved in this design contest that we are doing. So thanks again, Colin, for your support at Cal Poly. We look forward to doing a lot of fun stuff together.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Holiday.
Happy
See you next
holidays.
time.
It's the digital